Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and a warm welcome to this week's Walking Wednesday. And I'm going to address something from last week's Walking Wednesday just up front. Of course, I named that video 750 subscribers knowing full well that having just hit that marking point, I would most likely not be keeping it for some time. And of course that inevitably happened, and I got certain comments from certain people about how poorly the title aged. Well, guess what? It's aged like wine now, so thank you. Thank you for the faith that you put in me, which is to say none at all. Anyway, now that's out of the way. Obviously I haven't really been posting much in this last week that I had before university. Well, I say before university started. I'm actually my courses start on the 28th that week, so actually technically speaking I'm only officially going back to Liverpool next week rather than back to university, so that's going to be the major difference. However, I am going back up next week. That's what's going to happen. Well, no, not even next week, it's this week actually. It's the 12th, so yeah. I know that my brother's been counting down, but I have not. Not that I'm not excited to go back and at least attempt to see everyone else. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure. You know, it's always one of those things. You know, after you've been in lockdown for so long, it's basically I'm just going to end up being locked down on my own. That's much more lonely. Not that I've been the greatest of company over the time that I've spent quarantined. Because of my YouTube schedule, I end up waking up quite late and also going to bed quite late, so I only coincide for a few hours, sometimes not even for dinner anymore. And I'm aware of that fact, and that's not okay. And I am sorry for that. It's been a year and a half now or something since I've been told, oh yeah, you're on the wrong time zone, you've got to get out of that. Yeah, my question is how? Because yes, I could just say, oh yeah, I can shun all of my online friends that have been so gracious and have helped me for the longest time and got me to the online pedestal that I am at today. But that would be incredibly heartless and incredibly unfair to them. They mean well, and they must be treated as such. So that's why that's kind of stayed the same. It's been twice now that I've come back home thinking, oh yeah, I'll sort myself out, you know. But then it never actually happened. I don't know, maybe as soon as things start opening up, I might get more invested in the outside world. I mean, university included, of course. Because with the only stuff to occupy oneself being what I was going to say. The stuff to occupy oneself being the online world, then that becomes what you know. Not that it wasn't already, but more so. Sorry, I got a bit distracted by the fact that I'm watching these people. I didn't realise there was actually a second place for this. Oh, it's the second Go Ape. Yeah, hashtag smashed it. And it says Go Ape Crawley somewhere down there. So yes, I am in Tilgate one last time. However, I went a slightly different route, so I'm further up in Tilgate than I usually am. I'm just seeing what I can see, because clearly there are quite a few places that I haven't gone down. I could have spent the entire Crawley sections of Walking Wednesday exploring Tilgate, and I'm sure I wouldn't have found everything. Kind of like the city itself in a way. So yeah. But yeah, my point from before was basically, I know that I seem like I'm not aware of, you know, what I'm doing to myself, and the fact that I've probably ignored certain friends that I had in the real world in favor of others that just so happen to be the ones that are also YouTube centric. Yeah, no, it's not that I'm not aware of that. It's just that it's annoying when people actually point it out, expecting me to have heard it the first time. Because yeah, I do get people asking me stuff like, "Oh, how's this person? How's this person?" And I, more often than not, will look away and say I don't know, because I don't know. Sometimes it's not for lack of trying. Sometimes people just disappear and you can't even get in contact with them, which is equally annoying.
But also a lot of British people.
I don't know. This is the classic cliche of the world online being a place that doesn't actually connect people but isolates them. I still have to disagree with that, because I wouldn't have met half the people that I know now if it weren't, well, not half the people. I wouldn't have met a good chunk of the people that I know now if it weren't for the online world. And I wouldn't have, you know, the plans for the future that I have now. And that's not to say that I didn't have plans before all this, you know, wanting to get into acting and writing and such. But yeah, that's something else that I've ignored, is the writing aspect of things. Well, I mean, not entirely, because obviously I've been doing scripts, and you've seen the musical project that I've got going on right now. But yeah, the thing with that is that you know, I always started off as more of a prose person, and ever since last year, I've been casually mentioning that I'm going to get a second book published, but I've not given enough input for that to happen yet. So yeah, honestly there was a lot of stuff that I should have got sorted before now, but didn't. A lot of people that I should have talked to, and a lot of stuff that I wanted to happen but was unable to do. Like for example, Puppy Love and the mini movie that I mentioned before, which was more movie than it was mini. Quite honestly, because that script we found out was actually going to be significantly longer than I thought. But yeah, I don't know. There's still other stuff that I got done. I feel like at least the one thing that I've been able to do is grow the channel. Because yes, you know, while COVID was going on, and whilst it's still going on, people are spending more time online, like myself, and overall viewership has gone up. However, it's one of those things where I guess it's just a double-edged sword. But yeah, so honestly, if there was any time when I wanted to, you know, grow and get to the stage that I want to be at, then it was now. Yeah, I've just got to keep telling myself that those people aren't going anywhere, and hope that they forgive me for my negligence. I won't name names because I'm sure the list would be way too long. Sorry, this is a severe contrast from last week when I was so happy. It was just I've had a couple of conversations about this since. Like yesterday, I went on a different walk, and I got the exact same parent talk that I had from, you know, the past 2 years. You know, make sure you get involved in stuff. Don't stay in your room. Which, you know, will be a bit more difficult now, but They just said it. They said it regardless.
Yeah, can you? And it's like, you know what?
You know, like I don't try,
Put it
essentially.
last thing, so it's not. It's not
But then also, not only suggesting stuff that I should do, but stuff that I shouldn't. You know, like don't spend all the time online. And you know what, the one about not staying up too late makes perfect sense. I'm not arguing with that one. And that is something that I've allowed myself to let go of, partly because, you know, again, the situation kind of demanded it, and the actual lockdown effect on the online world, you know, was the perfect time to be working with others and hanging out with them and such. But yeah, it's not quite the same, is it? So I probably will be putting a stop to that, especially now since they've also gone back to school. But then again, that just affects the earlier hours and still impacts me, quite honestly. I don't really know a way around it. But yeah, it's one of those things where I guess now that I'm actually getting a lot more help with some of the production stuff, especially with gacha videos that require a lot of time and preparation because of the way that I do them. Like I said before, I envy people like Mimi, for example, back in the day, who would be able to churn out several quite successful projects in quick succession without a script, without voice actors. But yeah, I just can't bring myself to do that. I did say at one point that I might be doing a non-voice acted project, but no, that's just not me. It's not what people know me for. It's not the pedestal that I've built up for myself, and the one that I am proud of. But yeah, basically what I'm saying is now that I've got more help with those, maybe potentially sharing out the workload of the projects will not only mean they come out faster, like, you know, the Through Horizon, the last episode of Mutant Girl did, but also will mean that I'm not stressing about them as much. Because, you know, sometimes there were certain scenes in those episodes that got edited while I was asleep. And that was amazing. But yeah, speaking of Through Her Eyes, actually, that I was working on that episode as of right now. I've got 2 editors now instead of 1. Monet has joined, who is also the voice actor for Empress. And you know that in itself is magnificent that I've got Monet and Aiden now. The only problem was I needed some lines redone, and that took some time. So yeah, it was but yeah, there's only one thing that actually needs filming and editing, and I'm basically done. And it's just doing the last time on the Mutant Girl, and that's it. I've already ended up by the lake, completely by accident. Just exploring. Still can't get over the fact that it's not a complete circle. It's, you know, that is visible. Those end up on a weird angle. But yeah, so I will say expect Through Her Eyes to come out this week. Might work on that while I'm back, and while the people are doing auditions for the musical. I forgot to post the stuff on Facebook last time and on Instagram. And yes, I do use Facebook to contact people that I know in real life, because I was just their social media of choice, It's Facebook groups usually tend to be used by university groups, so I could put stuff on there. They might think it's a weird time to start this just before heading off, but don't worry, I have helpers now. And yeah, and I have significantly much more of a following than when I started doing gacha. So that's quite something. I think Mutant Girl episode 1 is now almost at 900 views or something. So yeah, there's that. Again, people are checking back on the first episode and seeing what that's like. And I am glad that they are doing so. What is up here? Slight path deviation, I'm just curious to see what's up here. But yeah, through... No, I forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, who knows, maybe the season of Mutant Girl might be finished by December, depending on how fast we can produce them. Once the Horizon ends, maybe I'll ask for episodes in bulks of 2, like I used to do. Okay. It's just another path. Up and down. Okay, that works for me. So yeah, basically going forward things will be different, but obviously the musical will still be done. And you're wondering, you know, will it be more stressful to write a musical than it is to write a normal script? Well, kind of. Hello. There's a callback to Walking Wednesday episode 8, just with less dogs. What was I going to say? What was I going to say? What was I going to say? Oh yeah, bulks of 2 is what I was saying about particular episodes. But yeah, oh no, was it more stressful to write a musical? Well, I mean, it depends. Like, sourcing the instrumental for one of the songs was a nightmare to find, but then the actual song itself came quite naturally. So, there's that. Also, I've got other ideas for other things, and also bear in mind that there are very few characters that I posted on there. I'm going episode by episode. I'm going to create the maximum hype possible around that. So I'm going to do a casting call, most likely for each episode. So bear in mind that might delay other things, because if I'm going to give people 5 days per episode, I might as well make that fair. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. So yeah, I'm quite, and also as part of that conversation I was saying before that I had yesterday from the walk, that yes, it's true that the second year of university usually becomes more intense, because suddenly stuff that you're doing actually counts towards your degree and is not just preparing the mindset for you. And I have seen that there are lots of other projects that are in between that. So yeah, who knows? I'm going to try and make sure that there's some other things there. To be honest, I might as well keep on live streaming, because again, that's something that I can do much more easily. I've been thinking for a while that maybe I should start live streaming Gacha Review, because that's something that takes a long time to edit, and also we pause a lot when we talk over it, and usually that works a lot better in live stream than it does in real life. And that way, if I make a certain mistake or something, should I do so, then I guess I can just say I can just get people's feedback in the comments. It also means that it won't be as crowded in some of the reviews. Maybe I'll relegate some people to the chat and have them form an orderly sort. I was going to say, maybe a more orderly video. Obviously, if I invite the creators onto something, it would be them as well. But chances are, because the more people that there are, the more the video gets clogged up, and the more likely it is that someone will start talking when I'm trying to resume the video or something. It just ends up being a mess. There's a lot of stuff that I cut out of every episode, and it's still super long. So you can just imagine what that's like.
Not now.
So yeah, I think I might try that out actually. Gacha review live. See how that goes. There are definitely going to be a lot. Well, actually, no, that's not. I've got what I was going to say now. Maybe if I do collab stuff with people, and it's one thing on my channel, one thing on theirs, then I'll still do video formats. I don't know, I'll try it out and see how it goes. It's just an idea. Because I know people really like gacha review, so I might as well, if I can actually get my face cam to work as well, that would be even better. But, oh well, thoughts for later. Yeah, honestly, I think that's it. Sorry this ended up being a lot more melancholic than before. Oh, and also the one thing that I will be working on now is the 750 subscriber special. I didn't do anything on that last week because I knew it was going to go up and down. But now that it's more up than it is down, I'm going to risk that, and I'm going to produce something. So there you go. Expect that sometime in the near future. And yes, that will be a combined thing with the 500 subscriber special. I'm just going to call it the 500 and 750. But yeah, at least this way, at this growth rate, I have time to work on stuff. Even if that time, as per obligations returning, is ever so fleeting. So yeah, thanks everyone for enjoying the, I guess, the Crawley editions of Walking Wednesday. I will be back in Liverpool next week. In fact, I'm going to go down those stairs and go the other route back home, I think. No, I'm not. I'm going to go this way. But yes, please leave a like or dislike, because your opinion matters. I will of course be back next week, and everything will try and continue. No promises as to how frequently stuff will be able to come out, but at the very least, something will always be there. So, on that note, until next time, farewell.